discussion and opening out of hearts, because a lot of people could not interact because of the time-bound sort of a schedule. And today, as I said, I will offer dinner only after the discussion is over. So that we will have a good interactive time with all of us. And so we break for tea now, and then we join back with Phadke sir and the whole psychiatry team with Dr. Shivram. And we have a discussion, a panel discussion and an interaction. And here sir is not going to talk, sir is going to interview. Yes, so so I think it's going to be a lovely interaction. That's what we look for.
And a little bit to Leena also, because they are the two.
Leena madam, Mani madam and Aarti madam, all from the panel.
No. We are not going to have a side this month.
Okay, I thought you were.
I'm going to ask them, and because see, we have two people and they have two models, in which they actually are running mind-body services. Nimans has its own model which is there for like 16 years now. They introduced this idea 16 years ago. So 16 years is running this service, and like me, most of the time I am modest, as you have seen. It's only sometimes that I am a bit modest. So he was also very modest actually to give his personal introduction. I would like you to introduce you people about his work. Of course, it was well read by our seniors, our juniors, many people. But in short, I can say that he is one of the pioneers in the neurobiology research, which includes the genetics research, from genetics to functional MRIs. Okay, first time he has been doing this activity. So it's almost as if actually between him and Leena, they have shared the work in a way. Division of labor. He does all the work related to the brain, everything and anything which is possible, from neurochemistry to functional imaging. So he will share with you that. And of course, then he left up till now, but he told me his people start doing autonomic also now. So there is a competition for Leena.
It's a collaboration, sir.
And then I would also like to, in that sense, so I would like to ask him about the research work as well as the services work, the cumulative experience, of running that service. What are the limitations of that? What we need to kind of do further? What are the benefits of that? And Leena has as we all know, a young department, Leena and Priya. So they have a department, but which already is becoming one of the most popular departments out there. So it's already giving sort of competition to other departments, because all patients, they are more attracted there. So I would like to ask them also that how they organize their workflow. Because we just would not only want to be the people, those who want to discuss this theory, but a lot of young people, they would also be interested how to organize this workflow. What is the activity which exactly they do? How do they make the assessment? What exactly
I can ask them to get the tea inside.
It is now 15 minutes past. So to have a tea or not to have a tea is your option. It's not compulsory. It's not like Charlie Chaplin thing, that you are forced to have tea. Those of you who want to have, they can have.
Tea is served. You can get a cup inside, or you can have that and come back.
Chadda sir and Chadda madam were very open, to also tell कि उनके दिमाग की बत्ती कैसे जली. So I should also tell today मेरे दिमाग की बत्ती कैसे जली. Okay. So just slide लावा रे बाबा. One interesting childhood memory. मेरी बुआ जो थी वो एक sort of they had lot of farms and they used to live in a village. It was like a village. ये वो फिर से चालू किया जाता था. So I had that pleasure, I went there, so they said, we will show you, our system. I think I was first year medical student then, and in my honor, they had restarted, because we were 10 minutes late. So the 10 minute movie was played again, it was started again. So वैसे वहाँ पे होता था, तो इसलिए अभी we have these 3 distinguished people today joining. पूरा तो सिनेमा नहीं लगाएंगे 2 दिन का, डरो मत. It will not be total 2 days of repeat again. But we will just put some points, some highlights, which is also could possibly be a revision also for all these people. क्योंकि आज वैशाली मैडम has already given them a task कि भाई आज शाम को until they declare their manifesto कि कौन क्या क्या करने वाला है वो आज खाना खिलाने वाली है रात में. She has already told them. So first we took a simple quick talk, as you all of know that this origin of this term called mind body medicine 50 years ago. Harvard Medical School, Herbert Benson, he wrote this famous paper, Wakeful Hypometabolic Physiologic State as induced by TM, Transcendental Meditation. So, technique was Indian, equipment was American, and the doctor was American, and that is how it originated. Okay? People in India, they say that mind-body medicine existed with us for a very long time. So origin of mind-body medicine is not really 50 years ago, but origin of mind-body medicine is thousands of years. पर आजकल क्या है कि evidence based medicine का जमाना है. हर कोई पूछता है evidence बताओ ना यार, whether you are making hollow claims or whether there is a particularly our friend Professor Solanki, she is very spirited, about Indian things. तो उसलिए उसके लिए दिखा देता हूँ मैं. What is the Indian evidence? Okay. हाँ यार, लाओ बाबा. Next stroke of slide. This is a sutra from the 4th chapter of Patanjali Yoga Sutra. अभी chapter बोले तो Patanjali Yoga Sutra whole book is 4 pages only. Okay. It is just 4 pages, 195 छोटी lines, half pages, each one 195 sutra. चैप्टर 4 की शुरुआत इससे होती है कि सिद्धि जो है वो 5 तरीकों से मिल सकती है. सिद्धि इज अटेनमेंट. यू वांट टू अकम्प्लिश समथिंग, अटेन समथिंग. फर्स्ट सिद्धि इज बाय जन्म. सो बाय जन्म दे आर टॉकिंग अबाउट नेचर, द जेनेटिक्स, द नेचर दैट यू हैव गॉट सर्टेन एबिलिटीज बाय द नेचर. यू आर बोर्न विद सर्टेन एबिलिटीज. नेक्स्ट इन द लिस्ट इज व्हाट? Aushadhi. So at that time, Yoga Sutra itself has told us कि बाबा इसको औषधि के साथ combine करो. There is no problem. No hesitation. Don't hesitate to. It's not an alternate complementary therapy. Patanjali Yoga Sutra itself advised us कि इसको औषधि के साथ combine करो. Then they said mantra. Mantra was used by Herbert Benson. Okay. And then tap and samadhi. Day before I told you that actually the meaning of yoga itself is samadhi. So accomplishment is possible through these 5 ways: by birth, by nature, and the rest 4, as you can see, are nurture. Particularly last 3. So you can practice them. So you attain something either in an inborn way or you attain something by practice. And that is the main method as we know in yoga, abhyas and vairagya. So repeated practice. Namrata has also been telling us a lot about practice, about the importance of practicing things again. Okay. So therefore, if someone asks you that why do you want to claim, that this whole idea of mind-body medicine is a very ancient one, not really 50-year-old. So you can say that we have this here. Next one. Good part was that Harvard did a good job and they generated a lot of clinical evidence. As you can see, it's a very busy slide. A lot of ailments, maybe whether you want to call it psychosomatic ailments or whatever, but you can see a whole long list wherein they generated the evidence of efficacy of mind-body medicine. Next. Now Vaishali madam told you about her synapse, the NGO that she has.
Sphere.
Sphere, yeah, not the synapse, yeah, sphere. So we also have a registered NGO called as Center for Behavioral Medicine. Center for Behavioral Medicine is an NGO opened by the alumni of Lumens. I am one of them. My other colleague Prasad Gadkari, he is clinical psychologist, my batchmate. At the moment, he is working with IIT Jodhpur. He was in Pune all these years. A couple of years ago, he moved there. Third one is a biostatistician, Professor Sarmukadam. He was actually our teacher in NIMANS. And he's a biostatistician of international repute. He has written a lot of textbooks he's from your Nagpur. So Sarmukadam is third one, and fourth one, Professor Bhavsar already told you, is kind of our mentor. So they are the trustees of this Center for Behavioral Medicine. And we chose this image. So can someone of you tell about this image, what this image is about? What does it, symbolize? What is this image?
Vitruvian.
Vitruvian man. What does the Vitruvian man symbolize? Vitruvian man, what does the Vitruvian man symbolize?
The word is Phoenix.
Hmm?
The word is Phoenix.
Vitruvian man क्या है यार? पहले Vitruvian man बताओ.
Beyond the
It's
limitations.
actually balance, one word that you can say.
Thinking beyond limitation.
Vitruvian man means many things. You can Google and find out. Okay, so that is one simple exercise for you. So, but we chose Vitruvian man because it's a very apt symbol. Maybe Leena madam can tell us.
ढूंढेंगे अभी.
ढूंढेंगे चलो Google में ढूंढो. What does Vitruvian man signify? Okay. So Vitruvian man signifies something very interesting. And to the Vitruvian man we have the wings. So it's a winged Vitruvian man. A Vitruvian man who also would like to fly. Okay. So the whole idea behind setting up this one was to take up unconventional sort of ideas and research. Because in the organized setups, in the university setup, in the government grant setup, there are always certain kind of ideas which are pursued. And we should also have space in the society to pursue ideas which could be considered a bit offbeat or not mainstream. In the beginning, later maybe perhaps they can become mainstream. But to start with, and that is another point that I am going to therefore ask him about, that how in a national institute, all these unconventional ideas also grew, which is a sort of a bit an unusual thing. And it's good that we are trying to make it usual. And we have this, our social media lady, she is very fond of taglines. So we have this nice tagline: regulate what you can and endure what you cannot. So you have to learn to regulate whatever you can regulate, and you have to also learn to endure whatever you cannot regulate, because there is a limit, there is a human limit to which things can be regulated. So we should be aware of both. First is that we should be aware that what all I can regulate. That's why awareness is important. And second is, you should also be aware that as to what all cannot be regulated. Certain things can be regulated by non-pharmac interventions, certain things can be regulated by the pharmac interventions, certain things can be regulated by the surgery, and there are a lot of things which are not regulated by the human effort. So this is our tagline. Next. This was our Mentos moment. In 2007, US Department of Health, the American government set up a big commission, and which consisted of statisticians and different type of scientists. Because by then there was a pressure from the alternative and complementary therapy people in the US, that as to these all activities should also be regulated within the insurance. Because we know that the entire US system, payment system is more or less driven, the health system is driven by the insurance payment. So people thought, practitioners in the US, they made themselves into a union. Alternative and complementary therapies, yoga included, yoga, meditation, all sort of things from all over the world. And to look at it as to what is the real truth or real value, into their contention, American government set up this large commission. They came out with a very voluminous report, very nice actually. You all should read this, it's quite a very nicely done report, 500-page report. Even if you read the executive summary also, that is also quite nice, because it gives a good idea of evolution of this whole field and what we have been discussing, that what we need to do more about this. So they came with these basically three conclusions. Many uncertainties surround practice of mind-body techniques. We know that not only in India, but all over the world, in every street there is a yoga school. And that yoga school declares that I am the authentic yoga, isn't it? Every yoga school declares I am the authentic yoga school. The same can be said, about several such other things. One of the reasons which is cited for the success, and I think that all the young people should know, for the success of modern medicine, is a certain degree of standardization and scalability. That they achieved certain degree of standardization. They investigated those methods in a particular way with certain degree of rigor, and that is how then the acceptability, the so-called cliched phrase, evidence-based medicine that all of us like to use, it's a product of that. So it has a positive side, that a conclusive evidence is established based upon which, although you might not have done that experiment yourself firsthand, but you can rely on the research carried out by other people, and it could go to masses. Okay. So the first point which they said is that they felt that from a scientific viewpoint, from a health viewpoint, there are a lot of uncertainties. Lack of common theoretic perspective. People are not really clear, as to what is the theoretic basis of this. We are trying to now discuss the theoretic basis as to what mechanisms are involved. What is the theoretic basis of this? You do yoga, what kind of neurochemical changes happen, what kind of hormonal changes happen, what kind of autonomic changes happen. On one hand, is a wonderful thing, but on the other hand, we would also like you to sort of help us to help you have better methods. So whatever experimentations that you carry out are done in a good scientific way and that they have scientific merit. Because unfortunately in this domain, a lot of research which is carried, as you know, this gets compared with the research done with medicines, intervention studies. Invariably there is a comparison between pharmacological research and non-pharmacological research. And to this young lady who is pursuing her PhD, that's what I was telling her, that if you are trying to do an intervention study, you need to follow the international guidelines and benchmark. Then there is an acceptance of that research by the scientific community. So you have to play by the rules. Okay. Fine. So this is what actually this report said in 2007. We took this as a sort of a challenge to us. Yes, because we like to take the people here. I told you, whether it is me or whether it is Vaishali, we all are interested, whether it is Shivram. We all are interested in Himalayan challenges. We are not interested in climbing small peaks. We have high ambitions. So we took this as our high ambition that we should try to rectify these problems. We should try to be able to very clearly understand as to what is the theoretic basis of these. That's how we try to also learn more Sanskrit, read these texts first and study the yoga from a classical viewpoint, study it from a neuroscience viewpoint, so that we have a theoretic clarity as to what is happening here. And then also we are able to bring in the right kind of methods to investigate these things, etc., etc. Next one. So mind-body medicine, the Harvard style, it started with RR, as you all know, relaxation response. So you do the transcendental meditation and it generates a relaxation response through TM. Today, as Leena told us, because I told you, that we had sent Leena as our spy into the whole Harvard thing to do the course, so that we know that, what they know. So what Leena found out is that although they have expanded a great deal, again into the molecular level, but in terms of actually their interventions, they have remained a bit, sort of disjointed. So they still continue as a basic plank the relaxation response, on which they try to build everything. Then, as we know, over the period of time, as Davidson did his research on mindfulness with Dalai Lama's people, they threw in the mindfulness in it. Then they thought that, as India says that we are 1/6 of humanity, you cannot ignore us. China also claims the same, that we are 1/6 of humanity, you cannot ignore us. So they brought in Tai Chi also. So now you have in their fold mindfulness, you have Tai Chi in their fold, and of course, exercise, diet, all these things from the traditional health behaviors, it was always there. And with new fashions, they also go on to the narrative therapies, this, that, etc. Because in certain cultures, we are still lucky, that we can sit here like that and we can tell our stories to each other. In other places, people have to pay, to tell your story. You have to pay money to someone so that someone can listen to your story. So they go up to the narrative medicine nowadays. So with multiple these things. Our spy very successfully also informed us, that they are basically weak in yoga. So you know that's not really their strength. Okay, that was a good part. By then, because of this, our lot of research, as I said, happening in my alma mater, that is NIMANS, which was mostly relating to from the neurochemistry to the functional imaging, and side by side, Lina's work with our German colleagues onto the autonomic, we gradually were having better ideas as to what we should be doing about this. So what we did over a period of time, of course it took us long time to do that, nearly last decade or so. But we have a very substantial new approach, so it's not only just RR. Okay? We now want to have a RRR. RRR is very famous nowadays, like RRR. RRR. So why R square? Let us go for the R cube. So what is the new R in that? So we are just not only looking at the relaxation response, but we are looking at, in addition to the relaxation response, the resilience, very important part, which was completely missing from all other previous formulations of mind-body medicine, and which is a sort of a core, of our ideas. The three ideas are actually combined technically. Yoga and Ayurveda, both these ideas originate and they are totally combined with another term called as Sankhya. Sankhya was an ancient school of philosophy, and as the name suggests, Sankhya is about the numbers, measurements, statistics, as the numbers suggest the very term. So they are the twins, Yoga and Ayurveda, which have originated out of this Sankhya thing. And one of the essential ingredients within all these ideas is this fascinating idea of built up of resilience. Not just actually a relaxation, but developing certain capacity. In fact, that is what, if you know, all these sciences basically are meant for. Health from yoga is a byproduct. Yoga is primarily meant for developing wisdom. Because they say that if you become a wise person, good health is the automatic given. Wise people have good health. Other way around may not be true. Healthy people may not necessarily be wise. But if you are wise, for sure, you can expect, because health is a part of life. Life is larger than health. If life is healthy, health is a subset of that. So therefore, we thought that in RRR, we have a more powerful sort of a platform which our forefathers have given us, and that we should dwell in greater depth into that. And today I can tell you as what we have been generally discussing, and Amol Chaubey sir, our professor of Dubey sir, sorry, Chaubey sir, आपको square कर दिया सर यार, Dubey का square कर दिया देखो Chaubey. So Amol Dubey sir, our professor of medicine, as he rightly pointed out, that although the biochemical paradigm has been the predominant paradigm in medicine, we all know that, all the time we talk in terms of chemicals. But we can have equally powerful narrative in biophysical terms also, which yoga tries to do. Chitta vritti nirodha. Chitta is a collection of rhythms, essentially. And the health of those rhythms is it's a equally good, like in the basic physics, that is what we discussed actually previously. And so he had this good thought that yes, he agrees, totally agree that this looks a very scientific thing. Biochemical जितना scientific है, biophysical भी उतना ही scientific है. So talking whether in terms of some molecule, in fact the molecular approach has had its own limitations. We couldn't go beyond a certain level of attainment. तो इसलिए योग में भी दिया है ना भाई, औषधि निचले लेवल में. आप वो सीक्वेंस देखोगे ना, जन्म, औषधि, मंत्र, तप, समाधि. औषधि दिया है, पर औषधि के ऊपर और भी चीज दिया है, और भी चीज वो बायोफिजिकल में चलता है, अपने को पता है. तो बायोफिजिकल में चलता है ना, तो हमारे जर्मन फ्रेंड ने हमारे को है ना एक टॉय लाके दिया है. दिस इज कॉल्ड एज द ट्राई पेंडुलम. आपने देखा है क्या कभी किसी ने ट्राई पेंडुलम? You seen this toy? This is called as a tripendulum. Now on this tripendulum, as you can see, there is a fixed point and there is a moving point. Okay? So there is some stability. ऐसा नहीं होता है कि इसकी मूवमेंट टोटली रैंडम होने लगती है. वो लगता है ऐसा कि उसकी मूवमेंट रैंडम हो रही है, पर उसकी मूवमेंट बहुत सिस्टमैटिक है. This is the model of the way rhythms run actually. It follows, this is a model of the what is so-called non-linearity. So there is some frame, we have been talking about that in the flow also. Shivram's pet subject, the flow. Chismili hai, finally I could pronounce it well, if not spelled. So Chismili hai is also Shivram's favorite. So this is a model, that how the rhythm is. That on one hand, the rhythm has a total freedom to make movements, but it makes movements within a frame. This is also, I know that there are quite a few people here who are from Ayurveda background. This is also the model of Vata Pitta Kapha. Kapha is the stabilizing element, Vata is the moving element, Pitta is the energy part, which gives it the energy. So if you look at it this way, biophysical way, our sciences, they seem that they have a lot of sensibility, because in our biased mind previously we had rejected most of them as stupid sciences, non-sciences, stupid sciences. We don't want to pay heavily for that mistake again. We want to correct that mistake. We don't want to, summarily reject. As I said, the proper method of science is that we should investigate. If you find the proof in it, you accept it. Make correction, into your own thinking if you find the proof. Don't reject something in a summary way. We did it in the past and we paid the price for it. We don't want to repeat that mistake again. Okay, so that is where is the answer to your question. We will definitely not make that mistake again. Next one. What is resilience? Resilience is the ability to bounce back. Ability is to bounce back. And in resilience, we want to welcome challenge. We don't want to have, a defensive narrative which is sort of being a victim of stress. Everywhere you read about, victimhood. People claiming, like a chota kid to old man. बराबर है ना? किसी को loneliness का stress है, जिसको family नहीं है उसको loneliness का stress है, जिसको family है उसको family का stress है. Yeah, of course. So, बराबर ना सर, पैसा नहीं है उसको पैसा नहीं होने का stress है, पैसा है तो उसको पैसा होने का stress है. कार वाला आदमी दुखी है कि वो टू व्हीलर वाला फास्ट जा रहा है. टू व्हीलर वाला आदमी दुखी है कि वो कार में बैठ के क्लाइमेट कंट्रोल में जा रहा है. Serious question for all of us to think. So whether somewhere we are sort of allowing ourselves to indulge into this victimhood, that we are all victims of some global stress conspiracy, that there is perhaps some other universe is conspiring against us and pushing all of us, into this stress thing, okay? And that as if, we are so deenheen ki we can do nothing about it, that we will passively take all that. No, we don't want to do that, we have the ability and the capacity to remain strong and firm and resilient in the face of that. And that's why that practice is necessary. So this whole idea in yoga and Ayurveda is to experiment with oneself and give oneself graded exposure. More challenge. So you make yourself capable of taking in challenge. Okay? Resilience in disease state, it implies achieving healthy rhythms, by this logic. Good control, minimization of progression, etc., etc. And therefore, the idea that we have to make maximum effort to regulate. Giving up or enduring should not be the first option. Suffering should not be the first option. We have to have an affirmative, positive action. There should be an effort at regulation. We should not consider ourselves as passive people. Okay? So that is one of the, you can say, important ideas in our model. Because somewhere the relaxation model tended to suggest that this world suffers from stress and that you have to do something to get rid of that stress. Stress is bombarding you, stress response, and you have to do the relaxation response to get rid of that. We want to go a step ahead. That I will build my capacity, so that I am more resilient, so that I am less affected by stress. Life is full of challenge. We listed on day one, different, and challenges will keep coming. It's not only the first and the last pandemic, COVID is not the first and last. There will be pandemics, there will be wars, there will be climate change. Which way we look at it is going to also decide the philosophy of our own medicine. Are we going to, because when we talk about lifestyle, this is from my personal take on it, whether we want to shape our lifestyle in a defensive way or whether we want to shape our lifestyle in a, sort of not so defensive way, proactive way. I don't often use AC in my car. People think that I am stupid, or maybe I am a very poor person who doesn't even afford, enough petrol to put on a AC. But during the summers, I like myself to be exposed to summers. During winters, I like myself to be exposed to winters. During rain season, at least on some occasion, I like to get drenched. I allow, myself to sort of be. Vaishali has, between Vaishali and our nutritionist madam, they have organized there for us, like you wouldn't realize this, I am sort of engaging you in all this hypnotizing talk, that your lunch has been postponed, as a resilient method today. You are already past your hypoglycemia. Okay. So, next lawyer. Next guy. Okay. So, next. Yes, so we want to have a combination of all these. Psychology, especially the new positive psychology, health behaviors, exercise and nutrition, freedom from addiction, yoga and meditation in their proper form. And of course, combined with medicines. Because Yoga Sutra itself told us that go ahead with Aushadhi also, no problem. Next. And MBM is basically there for the neuroregulation training to both control or regulate whatever you can and to endure whatever you cannot. Okay, it is both. Next. This is now in a lighter vein. We were discussing this, one of the latest medicine. You may perhaps be aware there is something called as a label. Label means that what does the company legally project that medicine to be in the eyes of regulator. Can someone read this?
Jardiance, Emporium,
वाचा वाचा सर.
Jardiance.
तुम्ही वापरत असालेला नाही का
Treatment
medicine.
of adults with type 2 diabetes mellitus as an adjunct to the diet and exercise to improve glycemic control and to reduce the risk of CV death in a patients with established cardiovascular disease.
Okay. So people in the industry, in मराठी विषय की लोक काळाची पावलं ओळखतात. People know the times. You know, those people who are in business and that's how their businesses survive actually, you know, because they are able to think ahead of times. So in this legal level, what you see is that they are not saying, you know, that medicine is primary and exercise and diet and lifestyle measure are secondary. They are saying that exercise, lifestyle measures are primary and medicine is adjunct. This is the change which has happened in 15 years.
Medicine is adjunct.
Medicine is adjunct.
Adjunct to life.
15 years ago, the complementary and alternative therapists in US were fighting, you know, that they should be allowed the status of complementary and alternative to the mainstream medicine. In 15 years' time, you find that Boehringer Ingelheim is one of the global leading companies, multinational companies. In 15 years' time, you see that how smartly they have put the onus on all of you. That they say that Jardiance will give results if you people work. If you follow the exercise, if you follow the diet, that has the main effect. This is an acknowledgement, you know, 60%, 70% benefit is going to come through that. उसको हमारी दवाई थोड़ा टॉप अप कर देगी. Once upon a time we were saying, नहीं क्या अभी भी maybe when many of you came here, we should have asked you that question actually, you know, about your own.
ये change है ना.
Yes, about your own perhaps, you know, CAP question and knowledge attitude practice. That whether you think mind body medicine as an adjunct or whether you think that mind body medicine is the main medicine and medicines are an adjunct to it. I don't have to give you that answer, you know, Boehringer Ingelheim has given you that answer. Next slide please, sir. Another medicine called semaglutide by another hugely big company called Novo Nordisk. Novo Nordisk pioneers in the insulins. काय लिहिलं sir? Ribulus is used
along with the diet and exercise to improve blood sugars in adults with type 2 diabetes mellitus. Along with diet and exercise.
इसने देखा नहीं क्या ये? I don't know that when this change happened, that your mind body medicine actually has become now the main medicine and medicines have become adjunct to it. देखा क्या ये? That's why I put these legal labels. You know, they are on the company's official website. Legal label का मतलब वो है कि US FDA के साथ, Indian DCGI के साथ, when they come and they register कि मेरी medicine किस चीज के लिए है? What is my medicine meant for? Okay? It is very likely, sir, we may see the same thing in psychiatry also. That you do yoga, you do your relaxation. In addition, ये भी थोड़ा-थोड़ा गोली ले लिया कर. There is a very popular medicine called as a Vertin. All of you know about Vertin?
Yes.
Vertin by a company called Abbott. So Abbott also got, you know, very smart. आप केवल स्ट्रिप खरीदोगे नहीं, उसको आजकल एक पैकिंग भी आता है, ना छोटा सा डब्बा रहता है, उसमें से वर्टिन की स्ट्रिप निकलती है और उसके साथ एक कागज की भी स्ट्रिप निकलती है. उस कागज की स्ट्रिप में ये दिया रहता है कि वर्टिगो के लिए एक्सरसाइज ऐसी करोगे तो उसके साथ वर्टिन अच्छा काम करेगा. So what once upon a time, you know, was thought as the secondary and the primary, those seats are changing now. So we are really in the midst of some very exciting times. Okay, you people are here in the right time. चड्डा सर को किसने तो भी क्वेश्चन पूछा था कि वो जब आईपीओ आता है ना, आईपीओ आता है ना, नई कंपनी खुलती है तो वो शेयर लेने का कि नहीं लेने का, किसने पूछा था? यडास ना, तो तेरे को मिल गया क्या आंसर? अभी खरीद ले कंपनी का शेयर, माइंड बॉडी मेडिसिन कंपनी का शेयर खरीद ले, क्योंकि अभी यही कंपनी चलने वाली है. अभी यही कंपनी चलने वाली है. मैडम ने सर्वे किया, वैजंती मैडम भी बैठी इधर. वैजंती मैडम did a survey, देशमुख मैडम did a survey not very long ago, you know, into their large size camps, and we were sort of surprised to see that 85% people, they are using, you know, all other methods for the self-help.
And despite they were satisfied with the treatment, but still they wanted
Yes.
something else.
Yes.
Happy with us, both of us.
Yes.
It was not like they were unhappy with our medicines or not controlling with our medicine, but despite that they wanted another ways to combat.
So two very smart people in this country, they said ग्राहक राजा होता है.
Sir, I have one comment.
Yes, बोला ना,
Like,
बोला.
what these patients actually showed us that we are able to control their disease but not able to give them health.
Yeah.
So we are successful as treaters, but we are not successful as
Yes.
healers and health givers. So that is what we concluded.
तो क्या है भाई कि वैशाली मैडम ने तो 4 साल पहले ही शेयर खरीद लिया.
They are ahead of time.
She is the promoter, sir. She is the promoter.
वॉरेन बफे उसके सामने बैठा है और वो चड्डा सर से पूछ रही है कि IPO खरीदना कि नहीं खरीदना. Yes, follow her. Okay, whatever she does, now you do that. Okay? She has a extremely keen business sense. Okay. तो इसलिए है अभी this is where it is and two very smart people in this country they said that ग्राहक राजा होता है. मोहनदास करमचंद गांधी was the first one to say कि ग्राहक को राजा समझो. And then Narayan Murthy said that, you know, they both in their own field were absolutely great people beyond any doubt, you know. So we have to therefore, you know, तो integration शिवराम sir already patient के mind में हो गया है. Question is that whether we will be willing to provide the integration. Patient बोलेगा यार मैंने तो कर लिया already ना. Are you going to do it or not is your choice or your problem, you know. I have already done in my mind. So as far as the patients are concerned,
They are already gone to the.
it is over already. They have already passed the judgment. 85% people. Interesting. दो अलग cohort, दो अलग type के patient, 85%, 86% profile completely अलग. I think अपन भी इसलिए करने वाला हूँ यार वो मेरे साइकोलॉजिस्ट कलीग करती हैं हम वही करने वाले हैं अभी सर्वे ने कहा साइकियाट्री में भी पूछ लेते हैं लोगों को क्या करते हैं क्योंकि यदि डायबिटीज में रोमेटोलॉजी में तो लोग बोल चुके हैं कि हम तो इंटीग्रेटिव मेडिसिन ही कर रहे हैं आप क्या कर रहे हो एंड इनफैक्ट दे आर आस्किंग अस अ क्वेश्चन एज टू व्हाट मेडिसिन यू पीपल फॉलो वी आर फॉलोइंग इंटीग्रेटिव मेडिसिन यू नो व्हाट मेडिसिन यू फॉलो ओके सो
So we have 20 minutes for
yes good so next one next one ती पुढची स्लाइड येस तो कर तुझ्या कर
किती पुढे जाऊ?
4-5 क्लिक कर
किल्ले.
सगळे लोक व्हायचे.
आणखीन क्लिक कर
Secret आहे.
एक रिवर्स ला So this is all redundant, sir. This is all redundant. This is where we started, you know, our discussion.
Yes.
Accelerated growth, comorbidity, iatrogenic. अरे मागे. Patients have passed already this point. No, we are continuing to, you know, academically discuss these things. Yeah, कि comorbidity नहीं कि 4-5 diagnoses होते हैं. मैं मैनेज करूँगा कि तू मैनेज करेगा कि 5 लोग मिलकर मैनेज करेंगे. पेशेंट ने तो कर लिया ऑलरेडी जो करना है. नेक्स्ट पेशेंट ने वैशाली मैडम ने बोल ही दिया अभी पेशेंट ने डिसाइड कर ही लिया है कि इलनेस तू देख वेलनेस में देख लूंगा. चलो नेक्स्ट यस नेक्स्ट तो इसमें अभी अपन काम फिर भी कुछ कर सकते हैं. रिवर्स एक मिनट इसमें अपन काम एक कर सकते हैं. इट वाज वेरी नाइस यू नो दैट पीपल दिस मॉर्निंग वे आर वेरी ओपन टॉकिंग दिस आइडिया अबाउट कैच देम अर्ली. कैच देम अर्ली अपन अभी कर सकते हैं शायद that we can possibly make use of you know better understanding of this whole PNI framework and we may possibly still try to catch some people. Obvious illness का तो कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है लोग खुद ही डायग्नोस करके आ ही जाते हैं रिपोर्ट भी लेके आते हैं आपके पास भी आते होंगे I am sure people come with their reports to you they know their diagnosis they know their reports okay they also know from Google कि generally क्या करना रहता है इस illness के लिए as if they are asking you कि अभी तू बता तू क्या कर सकता है So that is what my skill is, to kind of manage them. कि मैं उनको वो चीज बताता हूँ जो गूगल में नहीं दी रहती है. Because I am also one of those people के जो इधर छोटा मोटा दिखा कुछ कि वही पहले ले लिया उसको निकाल. बराबर है. तो प्रेडिक्टिव मेडिसिन का एक पार्ट ये है भी है. तो वैशाली मैडम का तो है अभी 26 तारीख को भाषण है वैशाली मैडम का प्रेडिक्टिव मेडिसिन पे. ओके और दूसरी चीज अपन जरूर ये कर सकते हैं कि दैट वी कैन आल्सो try to bring in our narrative the health part, so that we remain more relevant to patients. ये सब बातें सुन के है ना अपना एमिगडाला जगना चाहिए. नहीं जगह ना तो अपने को कुछ दिन में सबको जल्दी रिटायर होने का टाइम आ जाएगा. Okay. If we become irrelevant to patients, next one. So लीना मैडम ने ऑलरेडी एलोस्टैटिक लोड का बताया एंड ये ऑलरेडी अपन बात कर चुके हैं कि हेल्थ एज बायोफिजिकल फिनोटाइप, नॉट जस्ट द बायोकेमिकल. दिस कुड बी आवर न्यू देयर फॉर प्रोडक्ट ऑन व्हिच वी कैन पॉसिबली सर्वाइव फॉर सम मोर टाइम. नेक्स्ट वन. नहीं क्या, क्योंकि अभी चैट जीपीटी इससे इमीडिएट कैच नहीं कर पाएगा. बायोकेमिकल से तो कर लिया शायद ऑलरेडी ना. स्टार्टेड क्रैकिंग एग्जाम्स ना, मेडिकल एग्जाम्स आल्सो इट इज क्रैकिंग. पता है ना आपको? So next. So these are some of the things where we can still possibly survive. The many minds and competition for dominance. You did all wonderful exercises about that. Like a network, there are different networks and different brain states. Experiencing one's own default, experiencing a focus attention, experiencing a flow, experiencing a thoughtless thing. Variety kind of things. तो वो सब चीजें inner fusion, outside inside fusion. शिवराम बोला है ना, इसलिए इसको नम्रता को इसके लिए भेजो नहीं क्या, इनर फ्यूजन के लिए. क्योंकि नया होमोन्कुलस में क्या आ गया है कि वो मोटर के साथ ही सब ऑटोनॉमिक सेंसरी साथ में है सब. पहले अलग अलग था नहीं कहता. अभी तो उसको पता है वैसे. शी नोज ऑटोनॉमिक. शी इज अ स्मार्ट पर्सन. शी कैन आल्सो परहैप्स नो अ लिटिल बिट मोर अबाउट द आइडियाज ऑफ मर्मा एंड द वे योग लुक्स एट योग बायोमेकेनिक्स. People ask us कि आप लोग पब्लिश नहीं कर रहे हो क्या? मैं इसलिए पब्लिश नहीं कर रहा हूँ ताकि चैट जीपीटी को अपना सब माल नहीं मिल जाए. क्योंकि the moment you will publish, the next day you will find that chat GPT is writing reviews, about your work. So for some time we can survive with this. तो वो अपने को जरूर करना है. Inner vision, the traditional meditation, observing the regulator, observing the mind, but as I said that perhaps observing the mind alone is not sufficient, for health purposes. We also need to find ways to regulate that. And yoga, luckily, as what we have been discussing in last 2 days, provides one of the most wonderful ready frameworks. वो भी इतना अभी पता नहीं है चैट जीपीटी को, and people have put all wrong kind of translations about it in the internet. So chat GPT will remain confused for a long time to come, I am sure. असली योग क्या है उसको पता जल्दी नहीं चलेगा. तो इसलिए क्या है basically, so what is the situation that we have, that from top to bottom, so from cognitive phenotype to the autonomic phenotype to the biomechanical phenotype, it has a sort of a logical structure, logical answers perhaps to everything, and one of our best forte. तो इसलिए अभी चैट जीपीटी को भी योग इतना पता नहीं है और हार्वर्ड को भी इतना पता नहीं है. Gives us some kind of opportunity. So think seriously about it. I am sure all young people, you are all very business oriented people. We were not like that in our young venture. You all are. So we have to therefore work more on that. Next. This exercise is not meant to enhance, your flexibility or any other thing in any way. It is designed to give conflict. The wide base tells you that lower body is stable. You start going down, your vestibular apparatus and other things, they start telling you you are falling down. So you are deliberately creating a conflict in your mind, whether I am stable or whether I am falling. There is a common conflict we all have today. ना क्या आज की मैं रोज क्लिनिक में जाता हूँ तो whether I am stable or whether I am falling. So the idea is that they are very carefully designed things when we will have the time and opportunity, we will go about them in an interesting way. You will say कि भाई वो सर्वांगासन से क्यों जनरेट होता है और पैरासिम्पथेटिक? सर्वांगासन से इसलिए जनरेट होता है कि उसमें सर्कुलेटरी कॉन्फ्लिक्ट दिया जाता है और सिखाया जाता है आपके बैरो रिसेप्टर को कि इसको कैसे डील करो इससे. So योग is what is called as like a stress inoculation, or like the way people have war games, you know.
It's like a vaccine also.
It's a vaccine. Yoga is a vaccine.
Smaller doses, exposures.
छोटा छोटा डोज में देके you build actually your capability, okay? So
Every
तो ऐसे
posture gives a kind of controlled challenge.
every posture is meant to give, as Leena said, controlled challenge, either to your entire cognitive apparatus or to your autonomic apparatus or the biomechanical apparatus, and in fact all of them put together. Okay? So this is the central theme, you know, that resilience is built through exposure to complex stimuli and conflicts, choosing challenges and attaining stability and comfort out of that. So you learn step by step. Initially it's a bit discomforting, as we said, you know, prayatna and then shaithilya. First effort, then relax. First effort, then relax. You know, that is a standard sequence which is followed all over there. I am sure you may all be doing yogasans. So yogasana is one of the commonest things which people do out of the whole Ashtanga. Next time when you do, you try and be mindful of this. You know, that whatever practice, what challenge it is posing and how you are resolving that challenge. Okay. Next one.